Hello everyone and welcome back. We're almost done. Still have a couple of more things that I wanted to show you. And one of them is I want to show you just how many fetches actually ReactQuery does in the background to make sure that your data is up to date. And for that I'm just going to come here to my index that, no, it's not called index. I think it's called main. Yeah, main. Let me open the app here. And let's use a hook called use is fetching. Let's say const a equals use is fetching. And this is global. So what this does is that it just checks, is your app right now fetching new data? Okay, so let's do that and let's inspect. Let's console.log. Oh my god, what happened here? And let's go to info, and this either returns like a 0 or a 1. But I want to show you something. So if I go here and I come back, what happens is, let me reload the page. There we go. Now we got a 1. Okay, 0. Okay, now I'm back here. So the window focuses again. And in general, ReactQuery, what it does is that when the window focuses, it actually fetches things again. And this is something that, it's not particularly bad, but I think it's something that, let's say you don't need it, right? Let's just, for the sake of it, let's say you don't want this. My point is, I'm going to teach you how to turn that off, for example, so that you can pass some options here. So you can pass some like default options, which is like a weird name. I feel like it should just be called options. Like default option seems like you're giving it, doesn't matter. And you can pass queries. This is the default options for queries. I'm just going to call the options. And you have refetch interval, for example. If you ask me what this number is, I don't know. What is the default option for this? What do we want is retry. Nope, it's refetch on window focus. And you can pass false. One thing that it also does is that it refetches on, so if I do refetch on reconnect, so for example, if I'm here and right now, if I do this, as you can see, it does not refetch it. But if I do this, and this is really dangerous, because my internet is really, really terrifying. And I reconnect to the internet. Is it going to though? Internet in Berlin is just a whole different medium of like, oh my god, will it just not work for 3 days now? Like if you disconnect from it, it may just not work for 3 days. Okay, there we go. And as you can see, it worked. The internet reconnected. When it reconnects, it also has a 1. So if this is also something that you want to turn off, you can also turn off. And the last thing that I want to show you before we move on is that I want to delete this because there's no... Actually, let's leave it. Let's leave like a thing here at the top that, okay, is fetching. And if it's fetching, I want to show a small div. Let me just close it. Oh wow, my headphones just started playing music out of nowhere. That was weird. Okay, so if it's fetching, I want to give a small div with a width of 50 pixels. Same thing, a height of 50 pixels. Just look at me, writing some rounded. I think it's full or something. Rounded full, NVG, green, 600. So now if I come over here, right, if I could just go to the main and remove this, will it show up though? Did you see that? That was terrifying. I feel like 16 pixels, maybe like 50 pixels, maybe too much. Okay, so let's just, wait, what? This is not important. The point is that it works. Look, this is terrifying though. I'm just gonna put it here. What it will be probably less terrifying. Okay. It's still terrifying, but less. So I can do a flex thing here now. And less terrifying. There you go. See that? A little terrible idea. Okay, so the last thing that I want to show you is I want to go to the transactions here. And we're going to open our... Where is that? Use edit, use delete. No, this is the actual transaction. I want to use transactions. I did it. I got here. Okay, one very important thing that you can do is pass an enabled key. So if you pass here, these are the default... Oh, no, I'm kidding. These are the options that we can pass. And one of them is enabled. So by default, all queries are enabled. So if I do this, it will, you will get the things. But you can pass false. You can also pass that. You can pass false to it. And as you can see, I just get an error. Yeah, I just get an error. That's cool. Because it's not enabled. One very important thing to remember is that, so for example, let's say you have something like const a equals like this, right? And you want to say, okay, it's enabled because there is something there. And you try to reload the page and it won't work. And it will tell you something. Where is that? Expected enabled to be Boolean. It has to be a Boolean. So you have to do something like this. And then you can actually work with it. And then if it's empty, you will also just not work. So that is very important. And that's something that has kind of screwed me over a bunch of times. That I forget that it has to be a Boolean. It won't cast whatever you send to it to a Boolean, which I think makes sense, right? Nope, sorry, that was the wrong button. I never know what is the button to like see the thing. Yeah, there we go. You can also change the cache time and initial data. We already did that. Just a bunch of stuff. So there's a bunch of stuff that you can do with it, but I wanted to show you these two because I think these two are the most like usually used ones. I think the enabled key is very important. So yeah, that's about it for today. Thank you so much for joining me in this endeavor of trying to disconnect and connect my internet in Berlin. And I'll see you in the next one.